We all know Robux is just fake money to buy things in Roblox, but this boy didn't care. To get it, he took his father's gun and took the lives of his 4 friends. This is the story of Jake. Jake was 12 years old. If you looked at him, he seemed like a normal boy. He went to a normal school. He wore normal clothes. But Jake had a problem. He loved Roblox too much. In this game, you need digital money. This money is called Robux. If you have a lot of Robux, you are popular. You are cool, and you can buy nice clothes for your character. Jake did not have any Robux. His parents did not have a lot of real money. Every time he asked them, they said the same thing. "No, Jake, we will not spend real money on a fake video game." This made Jake very angry. At school, his friends had thousands of Robux. They showed off their phones, they laughed and played together. They did not want to hurt Jake's feelings, but Jake felt very jealous. This jealousy grew inside his head. It became a dark, bad feeling. Jake's father had a secret. In the parents' bedroom, hidden deep under the bed, there was a small black box. It was a heavy metal safe. Inside this safe was a real gun, a big black pistol. Jake's father showed it to him only one time. His father looked at him and said, "Jake, never touch this box. This is not a toy. It is only for extreme danger." But Jake remembered the secret code to open it. 1984. One Friday morning, Jake made a plan. It was a very dark and evil plan. He took his phone and sent a message to his 4 best friends, Mike, Chris, Alex, and Ryan. "Come to my house after school today," Jake typed. "My parents are going out. We can play the game all afternoon. Bring your phones and your tablets." His friends replied fast. They all said yes. They were excited. They did not know they were walking into a trap. At 4 p.m., the doorbell rang. Jake went down the stairs and opened the door. Mike, Chris, Alex, and Ryan walked inside. They were smiling and laughing. They took off their shoes. They ran up the stairs to Jake's bedroom. They sat down on the soft carpet. They quickly opened their phones and started the game. At 4:30 p.m., Jake's mother called from downstairs. "Jake, your father and I are going to the supermarket. We will be back in 1 or 2 hours. Be good boys." The heavy front door closed. The lock clicked. The house was completely quiet. The only sound in the house was the happy music coming from the video game in Jake's room. Jake stood up from the floor. "I'm going to get some water from the kitchen," he said. He walked out of his bedroom, but he did not go to the kitchen. He walked slowly down the hall to his parents' bedroom. He went inside and closed the door. He got down on his hands and knees. He reached under the big bed and pulled out the heavy black safe. He touched the buttons. 1984. Beep! Click. The heavy metal door opened. Jake reached inside the dark box. His fingers touched the cold metal of the gun. He pulled it out. It was much heavier than he remembered. He checked the side of the gun, just like he saw in action movies. He saw the gold bullets inside, real bullets, ready to fire. Jake held the gun tight in his hand. He was not shaking. He was not scared. He took a deep breath. He hid the big gun behind his back under his shirt. He walked back down the quiet hallway. He stopped right outside his bedroom door. He could hear his 4 friends inside. They were having fun. "Look at my character," Mike said loudly. "I just bought a new golden sword. It cost me 3,000 Robux." Hearing that number made Jake's blood boil. The anger took over his brain completely. He pushed the door open and walked inside. He turned around and pushed the lock on the bedroom door. Click. The 4 boys stopped playing. They looked up at Jake. "Why did you lock the door, Jake?" Chris asked. He looked confused. Jake did not say a word. He slowly pulled the heavy black gun from behind his back. He pointed it straight at his friends. "Give me your phones," Jake said. His voice was cold and very quiet. "Give me your phones and tell me your passwords right now. I want your accounts. I am taking all your Robux." For 5 seconds, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then, Mike started to smile. He thought it was a prank. "That is a good joke, Jake," Mike laughed. "Where did you get that toy gun? It looks very real." "It is real," Jake said. He did not smile. "Give me the phone, Mike." Mike stopped laughing. He looked into Jake's eyes. Jake's eyes looked empty, like nobody was inside. Mike slowly held up his phone, but he did not hand it over. "Are you crazy, bro?" Mike asked. "Put that away. You are scaring us for real." Jake did not wait anymore. He stepped forward. He pointed the gun directly at Mike's chest, and he pulled the trigger. The noise was huge. Inside a small, closed bedroom, the sound of a real gun is like a bomb going off. It hurt their ears. A bright orange flash of fire came out of the gun. The bullet hit Mike perfectly in the center of his chest. The force pushed Mike backward hard. He hit the wall. The phone dropped from his hand. It hit the floor, and the glass screen broke into pieces. Mike's eyes were wide open in shock. He looked surprised, like he did not understand what just happened. He put his hand on his shirt. Dark red blood started to pour through his fingers. He took one very short, wet breath, and then he stopped moving. His head fell to the side. Mike was dead, just like that. The room went completely silent for 2 seconds. White smoke filled the air. The smell of burning metal and blood was terrible. Then, the screaming began. Chris, Alex, and Ryan lost their minds. Total panic. They jumped up from the floor. They pushed each other. They forgot how to think. They just wanted to run. Chris ran straight to the bedroom door. He grabbed the handle and pulled it hard, but it was locked. He was shaking too much to turn the little lock. He was crying and screaming. "Open the door! Please! Open the door!" Chris screamed. He hit the heavy wood with both hands. He scratched at the door with his nails. Jake walked slowly toward Chris. His face showed no emotion. Chris turned around. His back was against the locked door. He put his hands up in front of his face to protect himself. Tears were flying down his cheeks. "Please, Jake, we are best friends. Please don't kill me," Chris begged. His voice was shaking. Jake stopped walking. He raised the gun again. He aimed it right at Chris's head. The second shot rang out. Chris's body went completely weak. He slid down the wooden door, leaving a thick red line of blood on the white paint. He hit the floor hard. He did not scream anymore. He did not move a single finger. Now there were only 2 boys left, Alex and Ryan. Alex saw Chris fall. The fear took over his body. He desperately looked for a place to hide, but the room was too small. There was no way out. He dropped to his knees and tried to squeeze under Jake's bed. It was dark and tight, but he pushed himself under it. Jake turned his head. He saw Alex's shoes disappearing under the bed. Jake walked slowly over to the bed. He bent down on his knees. He looked into the dark space under the bed. He could hear Alex crying. Alex was crying so hard he was choking on his own breath. He was shaking like a leaf in the wind. "Jake, please, I beg you," Alex whispered from the dark. "Take my phone. Take my account. Take everything I have. Just let me go home to my mom." Alex slid his phone across the floor from under the bed. It stopped next to Jake's shoe. Jake looked at the phone. He lifted his heavy shoe and stepped on it, crushing the screen. Then, he got down lower. He pushed the barrel of the gun into the darkness under the bed. He aimed it at Alex's shaking body. The loud sound echoed under the bed. Alex made one terrible short sound, a sound of extreme pain, and then complete silence. The shaking under the bed stopped. Blood started to pool out onto the carpet. 3 friends were dead. Only the youngest boy was left, Ryan. Ryan was only 10 years old. He was very small for his age. He did not try to run. He did not try to hide. His legs simply stopped working from fear. He was sitting, trapped in the corner of the room, pulling his knees to his chest. He looked at Mike by the wall. He looked at Chris by the door. He looked at the blood coming from under the bed. The room looked like a nightmare. Jake slowly stood up. He turned his whole body toward the corner. He looked at Ryan. Ryan looked up at him. His small face was completely wet with tears. He was having a panic attack. He looked at the smoking gun in Jake's hand. Then he looked deep into Jake's face. "Why, Jake?" Ryan asked. His voice broke into a small squeak. "Why are you doing this to us?" Jake walked closer. He stood tall over the small boy in the corner. "I told you," Jake said. His voice sounded completely normal. It was scary how normal he sounded. "I just needed the Robux." Ryan closed his eyes very tight. He put his small hands over his ears to block the loud noise. He waited for the end. Jake pointed the gun down at the 10-year-old boy. Bang! Ryan's body dropped to the side, hitting the wall with a soft thud. It was over. The deafening noises stopped. The room became extremely quiet again. The only sound in the room was the happy, colorful video game music still playing on the dead boy's tablets. It sounded so wrong. The air was thick with gray smoke. The smell was enough to make someone sick. Jake stood in the exact center of his room. He slowly looked around. 4 bodies were on his bedroom floor. His 4 friends. Blood was soaking into his mother's nice carpet. Jake did not cry. He did not drop the gun. He did not run away. He calmly walked over to his desk. He put the hot gun down next to his school books. Then, he walked around the room. He picked up Mike's phone from the floor. He picked up Chris's phone. He picked up Alex's crushed phone. He picked up Ryan's tablet. He walked to his bed and sat down. He put the 4 devices in a neat line next to him. He wiped a drop of blood off Mike's phone screen. He opened the game application. He clicked on the profile. He saw the big numbers. 25,000 Robux. Jake finally smiled. It was a real, happy smile. He started to type. He quickly transferred all the Robux into his own account. Then he picked up Chris's phone. He did the exact same thing. Then Alex's, then Ryan's. Suddenly, he heard a car engine outside. The car parked in the driveway. It was his parents. They were back from the supermarket. He heard the car doors close. He heard footsteps walking to the house. Downstairs, the front door opened. "Jake, we are home!" his mother shouted from the bottom of the stairs. "We bought fresh pizza for you and your friends. Come down and eat!" Jake sat on his bed. He looked at his own game account on his phone. His balance now said 85,000 Robux. He was rich. He finally had exactly what he wanted. He clicked the store button. He bought a new digital hat. He bought a rare digital shirt. He heard his mother's footsteps coming up the wooden stairs. She walked down the hall. She stopped outside his bedroom door. She tried to turn the handle, but it was locked. "Jake, why is your door locked?" his mother asked. She knocked on the wood. "Open the door, honey. And what is that terrible smell coming from your room?" Jake sat perfectly still on the bed. He looked at the locked door. He looked at the blood spreading across the floor. He looked at his 4 dead friends. Then, he looked back down at his bright phone screen. "Just give me a minute, Mom," Jake said calmly. "I am in the middle of a really good game." Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories.